welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today we're taking a look at Frozen 2, which just came out to digital recently. Last week I reviewed the first film, and you can find that review somewhere on my channel. All I know is that I wasn't sure what I'd think about this one. All those teeny boppers who dressed up as Elsa for Halloween 7 years ago are, at the very least, now high schoolers, so there's a chance that this movie would have attempted to appeal to a wider audience. You know, those who are young now, and those who grew up with the first film. Could they do it, or would it end up with an obloquy? Let's get cracking. This review is brought to you by the word of the day, obloquy, the condition of one that is discredited, aka bad repute. Frozen 2 takes the audience into the unknown when Elsa hears a disembodied voice call out to her, beckoning her to go on an adventure through the mysterious enchanted forest to discover the mysteries found beyond its misted walls. Let's go on an adventure, you and I, back to 2013 when the first movie came out. What did we have exactly? Because I'm not sure, but we did have a lot of people singing Let It Go on repeat from then till now, because that was definitely the best song of the movie, or at least the most catchy. The rest of the songs I immediately forgot, at least the first time that I saw it. That all changed later down the road, though, as I am now a fan of all the songs in that first movie. But I can't help but recognize that it did take me a very long time to warm up to those songs. Maybe it's because I expected something specifically different out of a Disney musical. Maybe it's for another reason entirely. I don't know. The music in Frozen 2, though, I liked it. I liked all the songs in this movie. All but one. All but one. Kristoff had a solo number somewhere in the middle of the film, and it was weird because it had an 80s vibe or something, and yeah, it was fine on its own, but as a Frozen song, it was weird. I don't know if that makes sense, but it took me a long time to warm up to the songs in the first movie, so maybe it will take me a long time to warm up to the story in the second, because it's the story in Frozen 2 which I wasn't a big fan of. It seemed really vague and unspecific. To give you a better idea, the characters in the first Frozen film were always doing something, and they were doing that something with a purpose. Plainly put, they were going to find Elsa, bring her back to Arendelle so that she can save the city. Simple stuff. For Frozen 2, you have characters doing stuff without any real clear reason as to why they're doing it. Even with all the exposition going on, our heroes don't have a huge sense of urgency as to why they're doing what they're doing, because the entire thing hinges on Elsa hearing this weird, enchanted, disembodied voice and wanting to know more about it because it's literally calling her to action. But guys, here's the problem. I'm relatively sure nothing would have really changed if Elsa didn't leave the kingdom. But as it stands, I just found Frozen 1 to have a clearer objective and sense of urgency than Frozen 2 did. Past that, you should know that over the last 5 years, things have definitely improved in the best possible way when it comes to all things visuals, cinematography, editing, music, sound, all that jazz. Even though I think my behind-the-scenes score matched the first film, you can certainly tell while watching that there's been a massive improvement in the visuals and the tone of the movie, which is a lot darker, which I think is the element that's supposed to speak to a wider audience. It feels slightly more mature, but only slight. But story. Story is important. It's so important. It gives the film its drive and answers those underlying questions as to why these characters are there and why they're passionate about this mission. But this story, as I mentioned before, had trouble conveying its importance. So at the end of the day, some characters were there by default and default alone and weren't actually helping the mission. Anna's there because she's Elsa's yes man. Kristoff's there because he's trying to figure out a way to propose to Anna. But he himself is not actually contributing to the overall story. Neither is Sven or Olaf, or anyone really. The only person with a drive is pretty much Elsa, and that's it. It just goes to show you how important story is, because my experience as a whole was relatively similar to Frozen 1, but because the story wasn't as clear or concise, that affected a lot of everything else that occurs, and the score eventually was lower. Meaning at the end of the day, Frozen clearly beats Frozen 2 as an overall idea and concept. I gave Frozen 2 a score of 85%, 85 out of 100 possible stars, granting it the letter grade of B, which means I scored it 10% lower than the original movie. I would like to hear your thoughts on it though. Were you a fan of both the music and the story, one or the other, or neither? Let me know why in the comments down below. As for YouTube, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button if you like this review and would like to see some others like it. Hit the thumbs up button because that always helps out my channel. And don't forget about the little bell icon because that'll help notify you when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace out!